Red, green, white, white, black, red, threat, red, green, black, white, move, black, white, red, green. White left. Red. Threat. White middle. Red. Red. Green. Green. White. Threat. Red. Red. Green.
I was gonna grab another gun.
Threat. Right. Left. Red. Green. Green. Threat. Red. Green. White left. Left. Red. 2 on green.
Moving.
Threat. Red. Green. White left. Move this way, move this way. White right. White right. Red twice. Threat.
Alright, hey everyone, so my name's Preston. We're back here with Citizen Response. Obviously, this is not the same day we were shooting. We had an original video up, but because of the wind, I decided to take it down, and we're reshooting so that we can get better content and you can understand us a little bit better. So I got my buddy Max here with me today. I had shoulder surgery, so he's going to be showing all the guns and doing the side-by-side comparison, all that stuff. I'm going to be talking. So the few points that we wanted to go over between these two guns, the first one being, how does the gun actually shoot? So, you know, the shootability. When I draw that gun and I pointed out, how easy is it for me to get that shot on target and get multiple repeat shots on target? So the first thing is recoil impulse that goes into that. So I guess Max can talk this too, but he can give his opinion. I actually think the recoil impulse isn't that different between the two guns. Like between putting the rounds through the 365, I've obviously put a lot of rounds through the 43X. They're both snappy, but they're both not so snappy and so uncontrollable that you can't shoot really well and put, oh, there's a plane, sorry, and then put multiple shots on target really quickly. You know, it's not as soft shooting as something like a 19 or a full-size pistol, but for how easy it is to carry the guns, it's pretty good. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'd say the same. I'd say they're about the same. This gun might be a little bit snappier, just shorter barrel,
so?
smaller grip. Maybe a little bit, but I think it's, I think you'd have to put a bunch of rounds through both guns to get that compared. I mean, I think that.
Well, that kind of goes into the next point is like the grip. You got your 43X?
Yeah, I do.
So this is a big part of shootability, in my opinion, is how much hand can I get on that grip, right? And that points definitely go to the 43X.
Yeah.
I mean, that gun, it's way easier. It's easier to control because the grip's a little bit fatter, it's a little bit longer, especially, so this one has the pinky extension. Shooting this gun without the pinky extension is kind of hard. And they also make a full-size, like 12-round extension too. But the grip is narrower. It's a lot more narrow on this. So I think points go to 43X.
And to be honest, Preston, they actually make a 15-round extension on there. They came up with it about, I think, May of last year. And it adds about 1.5 inches to the bottom of the grip, which it's already a short grip, so it's I'm sure not a big deal for most people. But to get 5 extra rounds, kind of cool.
Yeah. So we have the recoil impulse we talked about. I think they're about the same. He thinks it's a little bit snappier. It's just
Yeah,
personal
it's-
preference. You
yeah,
need
it's
to shoot
very,
both guns.
very close.
It's not noticeably different like it is shooting a full size to a subcompact difference. And then you had the grip. Grip, I think, goes to the 43X for the shootability part of it. And then you have reloading. So, you know, some people this isn't a big deal to them, but to me it is, because I shoot a lot and reloading is a big part of shooting. So I think that points go to the 43X. Just blows this gun out of the water with how fast you can reload. Because, Max, you got the gun?
Yeah.
So show them when you get the full size grip.
Yeah, so with the full-size grip, being able to, first of all, being able to drop the magazine with just a press of the thumb, and being able to put it back in, your fingers are nowhere near...
Get the full grip. See,
Well,
his pinky is not, it's not
nowhere
touching.
near
Yeah.
obstructing the bottom of the grip. I mean,
Yeah.
it can easily come in and out.
Yeah.
You never have to worry about it not being able to seat all the way in or, you know, pinching your pinky
Yeah.
finger. Whereas...
This gun is like, you see my pinky is actually on the magazine right now. So to reload, I have to pull my pinky off. And that's regardless if you're running the extended mags or not. And so that's a training thing. Like, you can train yourself to do that. But I'm like, if I can conceal the 43X just as well, which is the next point we're going to talk about, why would I carry this? So that's the next point we're going to talk about is concealability. So can you put on the 43X?
Yeah.
So the holster, actually, if you didn't know, you can use 365 and 43X holsters. It works perfectly fine. So as you can see, like, it conceals really well.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you're like walking into the wind or something like that, it's gonna mess you up and you're gonna print, but that just happens sometimes. So now you can see with the 43X, now put on the 365.
Now the 365, you're gonna notice, I mean, it's not much of a difference, but the 43X, you kind of do have tendency to, you know, kind of feel the grip kind of come off of your body a little bit. We're both small guys, and the grip does stick out, you know, further.
Yeah.
With this, you immediately when you put it on, you notice that it's lighter. It just feels smaller.
You're more likely to print with this gun, like,
Absolutely,
for sure.
yeah.
That gun just disappears.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to print with that gun. Like,
Yeah.
you have to go out of your way.
Yep.
But this one, I mean, this grip length is the same as a Glock 19, but it still conceals perfectly well. I've never had anybody, you know, call me out or say like, "Oh, your gun's showing." Like, if someone knows that you're carrying, then they can see it, you know, when you move in certain ways. But, you know, I've never had anyone point me out for carrying or
We both
anything
have
like
good
that.
holsters that are fit, you know, fit perfectly for our style of carry.
So you get a good holster, you get a good belt. I use the next belt, he uses the next belt. It's dope. I have a full video on that I'll annotate up there, so you can watch that and see how the whole system works together. So the last point we're going to talk about is reliability. So this is Max's gun, actually. It's not mine, so he's put a lot more rounds through it, so I'm going to let him talk about his experience with the reliability of this gun.
Yeah, I mean, this gun really has been, I've been carrying it for I've had my LTC for about a year now, and I've carried it just about every time I leave the house for the last year. And I would say that it's held up for, you know, what I've expected. I haven't really asked too much of it, but it also hasn't let me down. I think it's
How many rounds do y'all have through that gun?
we've probably put, probably 2,000 rounds through it. 2,000 to 3,000.
That's a lot more than most shooters will ever shoot.
We've put a lot of rounds through this between, you know, my dad and I shooting it, and we've had no double feeds, no any sort of misfires. Hasn't jammed. And so, and it's good. I mean, the thing about this video is we're comparing, you know, two of the most reputable, you know, manufacturers in the world, SIG Sauer and GLOCK. And so,
well, people had a lot of problems with their SIGs, with like the strikers breaking or something like that. But theirs is, I mean, I don't know if they haven't put enough rounds through it to face that problem, but they haven't had it.
Could be. It's still, you know, you know, we've only
something
had
to have
it
in
for
the
a
back
couple
of your
years,
head.
but
Something to have in the back of your head. And so obviously I'm biased. Like, I'm super biased. I mean, I think the Glock is just the superior gun. And it's just for the reliability reasons. Like, the 365 is sweet. It shoots super well. It's super easy to conceal. But I don't have that nagging feeling in the back of my head with this gun, and that's why he switched to it, and that's why he carries this now. I didn't bother him about it. It was just like, I don't have the nagging feeling in the back of my head, like thinking, oh, is my striker broken? Is this gun even gonna work? I mean, obviously I have a 4,000 round review of this gun. I haven't had any malfunctions. It's been unreal. That's with just every Glock. You talk to most Glock owners, they're gonna say the same thing. I will say one thing I recommend with the 43X or any Glock that you get is you need to replace the sights and get metal sights. Doesn't matter what brand, you know, Ameriglow, Trijicon, Dawson Precision, whatever you want. But you need to get metal sights, because if you train enough and you start training with one hand, like obviously sometimes stuff like this happens and you have to train with one hand. When you go to reload this gun and you tap and you rack off your belt or off a holster or off the truck, no joke, I literally just broke the back sights off of my Glock 48 because I racked it off of the back of the truck and the sights popped right off. Now, I'm not hating on Glock for putting plastic sights on their gun. It's lower cost to the buyer at the end because people are going to change their sights anyways. Whatever, that's a debatable point, but I would recommend getting a good set of, whether it's fiber optics or night sights, put a good set of reliable steel sights or whatever metal it's made out of, metal sights on your gun, and they'll work you wonders and they'll be great. A lot better than the stock sights.
Yeah, so I think to recap, Preston, I'd say if you're just, you kind of just skip through the video and you just kind of want to get to the good stuff, I'd say the Glock wins 2 of the 3. I'd say the Glock wins shootability and reliability, and I'd say the SIG wins concealability. So if you're somebody that you really want a gun that, a gun that just disappears when you put it on your body, I mean, this might be the gun, and you might say, if I train enough with this gun, I'll be able to shoot it as well as any gun, and that really could be the case. But for Preston and I, we both think reliability and shootability of this just outmatches the 365, and at the end of the day, that's why I switched, and I think that's why a lot of people in the last year have switched to the 43X.
Like if I could only have one gun, I would take the 43X because I can conceal it, I can shoot it really well. But if you're one of those guys and you carry like a 19 or a 17 or a 19X or something like that, and you want a small gun that you're not going to shoot as your primary gun, this would be great. Because if you're not going to shoot it enough to get to those, longer issues down the road, you put a few hundred rounds through it to get comfortable, and this is just your walk the dog gun or something like that, that would be great. So yeah, hey, I appreciate everyone who watched this video. I appreciate everyone who maybe watched it for the second time after we reshot this part. Thank you for working with us. We're young, I'm filming this with a phone, and we're just figuring this out as we go. So I really hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you learned something from the video. And if you don't mind, giving a subscribe, if you like the content, we'll be putting out more content like this in the future.
I appreciate you for having me on.
Yes, sir.